Well, welcome to the third live show. My name's Nigel Main. You probably know if you've received an invitation. Thank you for joining me. Let me just explain what these live shows are about. I have been involved in B2B new business development for nearly 40 years. And during that time, I've experienced and worked through lots of issues and problems to do with new business generation. And one of the critical things is that the ways in which we were told that new business development, new business generation should work, don't work. You know they don't work, so do I. Everybody knows that it just works after a fashion. You have to kind of put up with it. But this is just the way it is. And so keep quiet, carry on. I'm not one for rolling over and just accepting the status quo. I don't believe that. Everything's got to be challenged. And that's what we've done. We've spent a good few years not exploiting, but pulling apart the things that the large organisations said are supposed to work and analysing them to understand why they don't work. The bottom line is you don't do enough business. Nobody does. And there doesn't seem to be a mechanism to change that. So we're kind of left in this limbo of what we can and can't do. I did mean to say that one of the things, you start off a show and it's a live show and it's like, hi, how are you? What have you been doing? Have you had a good week? All this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, I should have said that right at the beginning, but I didn't. But we have to look at the things that we do in the course of a week. And I think that's partly where part of the kind of some of the problems exist, because we look at what marketing is supposed to do for businesses. You have salespeople that are expectant of receiving some kind of information, and you have marketing in these large teams that you expect great work from them. I mean, I migrated 2 websites this week from an older version to a newer version. I had to update loads of software and so on. They're both up and operational, and they've both got A grade on. It's a platform called GT Metrics, which looks at speed and so on. I sent emails out to the list. I set this up. You look at all of the work that's being done, and I think, wait a second, that's just me doing it. I mean, I set all this up. You think, well, the thing is that for one person to be able to do all this work, how many people have you got working in your organisation doing what? Now, one of the things, I'm going to go onto this, excuse me, I don't know what's happened now. I'm going to go back and see if that comes up again, because that shouldn't be offset like that. But let me just go back to one. Oh dear, we have a technical problem. What should I do about this? What I might do, but you have to bear. See, this is why it's live. Okay, this is the whole thing about live. So what I need to do, I need to X out of my slideshow here, and then go back into it. Glasses on. Go back into it, and theoretically, this should be okay. Oh, why does it do these things? You have everything's been working, everything's been fine, and now it's not. You will bear with me. It is what it is. It's live. So I'll unplug that. I'll plug it back in again. Wait for that to fire up. Bada bing. Welcome to my world. The thing is that when you have when you're using all this technology, it's part and parcel of it is to, let me just go into it again. Bingo. Oh, hang on. I'm just going to introduce you to someone before I go to the next part. Come in.
Hello, everybody. I'm Liz. Unfortunately, I can't join you today because we're really busy on calls. And so I just thought I'd pop in and say hello to everybody. And I'll leave it in Nigel's capable hands because, as you can see, he's very capable without me. Hope you all have a good week. Enjoy the show. And I will be joining Nigel at some point in the not too distant future.
Great. Thank you. See you in a bit. I think, one of those things is that it's important that you know who we are, what we do, how we work. I mean, even with things going wrong. I mean, so yeah, this is part of the technology environment that we all live in. So theoretically, if I go to this next one, there you go. CEOs stop steering towards the iceberg. Now, the point about the CEO bit. Yes, it's pretty obvious. Everyone wants to sell to a CEO, but the trouble is, it's who is giving the CEOs the advice? I'll come on to that in a minute. But this show and the other shows, most of the other shows except next week, most of the shows are geared and tailored and directed towards CEOs, CROs, CGOs, VPs of sales and people in sales. And it's essential that you understand there is an alternative. It's really, really important, because if you follow the narrative, there isn't. This is it. This is what you've got. Get on with it. Keep quiet. And if you don't like it, you can get lost. That's the attitude in companies from big tech, martech, and so on. So we look at this. What's the crux of this? The crux of it is that digital marketing technology was designed for the consumer market. It was not designed for business to business. Consumers buy in a certain way. You and I buy in a certain way. We do not buy our software or products for our business in the same way that we buy a pair of jeans. Does not work. Or how we'd buy a car, or how we'd buy insurance, or how we'd buy a house. We just don't. Do you like it? Go and buy it. When it comes to business, if it can't produce an ROI, don't talk to me. And that's the absolute reality. That's just absolute fact. You know it, I know it. And because it's never worked as it was promised, it creates this, I hope you can read that writing at the bottom, it creates little empires for people in marketing. It's critical. I am critical. Now, the thing about this is that my kind of shocking way of presenting this is what I would suggest is you remove your digital marketing teams. Stop using them. And you're thinking now, wait a second, he's already not even 10 minutes into it, and he's talking about getting rid of the whole marketing team. Yep. You think I'm mad. I'm not. I'm furious. You have to understand this. It's absolutely critical. I've been doing this for nearly 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. This is what's going on. This is what the marketing fraternity are doing inside businesses. They're whispering into the ears of CEOs, and it's killing businesses. And you think, well, okay, I can see that. Salespeople watching this are going, yep, that's it, yep. The guy, he's on the money. Yeah. So who, why, what? It's just like a silly theory until you look at that and you go, well, actually, who's driving it? Well, big tech, marketech are driving it. Why wouldn't they? Why shouldn't they? They're in business to sell SaaS. They don't need loads of salespeople. You employ them. They're called marketers. It's the marketers that are telling you what to do here. And do that often enough, you'll believe it. So says Daniel Kahneman. So Daniel Kahneman writes this book, Thinking Fast and Slow. Some of you may have heard of it or read it. And basically, to nutshell it, you've got three elements. You've got thinking fast, which is instinctive thinking, because you understand this, and thinking slow. Pretty obvious. But thinking slow is being considered and looking at research. So the third element to this is the marketing industry, which functions and operates on repetition. If you think about that, you've been told the same thing for 20 years by everybody associated to marketing. All those marketers you've hired and fired, every single one of them has said the same thing again and again and again, and you've fired them because, or got rid of them, or they've left because they haven't cut the mustard, they haven't actually made it happen. But you've heard the same thing again and again and again, and therefore you believe and perceive that you know about marketing. But you do, but you kind of don't. But why should you? You're not going to go and do all the research to attempt to justify the employment of somebody else. You're not going to do it. You're going to accept, you do what Steve Jobs said. We employ highly paid people to come and tell us what to do, not for us to tell them what to do. And that's the reality. That's the absolute reality. So if we look at business, if we look at what's been going on, what's happening, we have to define success. So you look at the average tenure of a CMO is 18 months. It's been like that for 7-8 years now, here in the States. CROs 2.5 years. And it's not on there, but CEOs 7 years. There's a pattern. Why? Why is there a pattern? It's because of a lack of business. It's not actually happening. So the CMO is the one kind of at the rock face, almost. He goes first because he'll come in, get a new job, 3 months to get it all set up and decide what he's going to do, 12 months to execute, and 3 months to find a new job. And the CRO will go through a couple of CMOs and realise actually it's still not happening. And then the CEO, speaking to the investors, says, well, I'm changing these people and it's still not happening. We're still not getting the figures that we expect. Maybe we need a new CEO. It's shocking. It's really bad. I mean, you're looking at that, looking at the business failures. Is that... Someone's going to have to let me know if that looks okay on your screen. But basically, first, second, third year, 20, 30, 50% of businesses go bust. 70% 10th year. I think that all adds up, if I've got my maths right, about 91% of businesses that start up go bust. And the thing is with business, and we're looking at turnover, the average turnover per person per annum is about 120 grand. Smaller companies, it can be less. It's not that much more. I mean, it's between 100 and 120 grand pounds. Okay, pounds. I did some research on business process management companies, on enterprise architecture and RPA, robotic process automation. All of those companies, all big companies and so on, the average across 75 companies was $144,000 per person per annum, which is 120 grand. So you've got to hold that thought. You've really got to hold that thought. And while I'm thinking about it, I am doing this because I want you to get this. I've got nothing to sell. There's no pitch at the end. Says, I've got this bit of software. There's no pitch at the end. I want you to get this. I'm going to be doing these streams every week. You can watch them on Catch Up. You can look at them. I'll come onto the website later. But there's loads of information and content because I want you to get it. I want the business community to change the way that they market themselves and generate new business. Because you can. Okay, so I come back to it. So here we are, we're doing 120 grand per person per annum. And then you realise that Google do 2 million per person per annum. And I've got something for you on Google a bit later. Don't think, well, that's Google, isn't it? Microsoft are 1 million. IBM are 500,000. Amazon are 300 and something thousand. Then multiply that by the number of staff they've got. I mean, ergo, you will arrive at their turnover. So you think, okay, well, that's business failures. What about businesses that get investment? Well, you've got 40, 75, 95. 40% go bust. 75% don't achieve their own targets. And 95% don't achieve a return on investment for the investors. So all in all, it's a pretty poor picture. There are obviously other reasons to invest in businesses, tax breaks, yada, yada, yada. This information, this data came, the business failures comes from Sifted and Financial Times, and the invested businesses information comes from Harvard Business Review. So you think, okay. So just kind of just allow me to say this, and you'll see how it all leads to a conclusion. Typical business structure. This is what all B2Bs do. You've got marketing automation, demand gen, lead gen, ABM. Everybody. And then you've got your tactics, which is your blogging, pay-per-click, reverse IP lookup, and gifting. I can't remember this. So we've got 95% of businesses hate filling out forms, and that dates back to 2014. And now, demand-based say 100% of businesses don't want to fill out forms, which renders your demand gen, lead gen infrastructure for marketing automation completely useless. If you can't get the people that you want to speak to and engage with to get them to fill it out. You've then got telesales. Most people have got telesales and BDRs. Dress it up as BDRs, but it's still telesales. And they've currently got a 300-to-1 success rate. But the tragedy of this is that marketing are given KPIs and they are rewarded for achieving those KPIs. And salespeople are sitting there going, like that. You've seen the meme with John Travolta, from Pulp Fiction. It's like, so where's the business? Where's the leads? And marketing ceremony go, you've got all the leads you need. You just can't sell. And you've got these people thinking, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know how to sell. And the reality is, marketing have never sold direct, never seen the whites of the eyes of the person selling. So there's this, like I showed earlier from Lord of the Rings. You've got this evil being spoken into CEOs who are being forced to believe it because there is nothing else. And the marketers are kind of hiding behind the CEOs going, see, you can't, you're not doing it, we're doing it. We've got our KPIs. Mind you, your pipeline's crap. And it's just, you can't have that. And so you've got, looking at your analysis, because that's what you have to do. You've got to do an analysis. You've got to look at what costs are being incurred through this activity called new business development. Don't call it marketing, just new business development. But because it encompasses everything. As you can see, you've got marketing SaaS. Recent research, between 30 and 70, 34, 72 platforms. Start again. There are 30,000 SaaS platforms in the world. Half of the SaaS platforms are marketing. Most businesses now use between 34 and 72 SaaS platforms, bearing in mind half of them are marketing. You're using the tactics, which is pay-per-click, banners, ads and exhibitions. You've got all your marketing employee salaries to take into consideration, BDR and telesales salaries, all the costs, IT costs, office costs and so on, and recruitment costs. Because bearing in mind you're churning your CMOs every 18 months, so you're having to stump up 20%, give or take, or 15% or whatever it is of the 100 to 150 grand you're paying your CMOs every year in recruitment fees. So, like you call it, a shed load of money. So where do we go with this? What are we supposed to do? What's anybody supposed to do? Because the critical thing is that if you haven't got people to sell to, well, you're screwed anyway. But if you know who to sell to, how do you go about it? How are we supposed to shift from this problem? Most people have seen Tam Sam songs. Total addressable market, serviceable addressable market, serviceable obtainable market. Now, in essence, it's the simplest thing in the world. Just tell your market that you exist. You don't have to do anything else. Hey, I'm here. This is what we do. Come and have a look. It is no simpler than that. You've got to enable businesses to stay anonymous. You want to be anonymous. Why shouldn't they? You wouldn't entertain these salespeople the way salespeople sell. Why should they? Your content needs to be thought leadership, high level, informative, educational. Because people want to self-educate, self-serve, and just be able to contact you when they need to. So you think, okay, well, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Gartner. You've heard of Gartner. Gartner have maintained and do maintain the technology strategy across the board for marketing. There's a guy that worked for them for 25 years. He's producing all these white papers and documents and content, and a very senior person. His last article that gets published in Harvard Business Review says, actually, businesses want to self-serve, self-educate, and they'll buy from you when they're ready, when they can establish an ROI, and you can help them do that online. The old sales thing doesn't work. Oh, by the way, I'm leaving. And he left. So you think, everybody's banging this drum for technology. Well, why wouldn't it be? High paying. The marketing dollars that come from big tech martech is significant. Just keeps the pressure up. Something that's, I guess, is pretty obvious. No one's looking for you. The people that you want to sell to are not looking for you. They're busy. You're always busy. They'll dip in when they need to. We as business owners, we're not fools. We're pretty bright, actually. We run companies. We employ people. We know what our business needs, pretty much. We know what's available on the market because we employ lots of different people, and these lots of different people know what the products are, and if it's relevant, they tell us, or we already know. So we don't need, as if it was a car, we don't need someone to come and tell us, can I have a look at your car? Well, why would you want to do that? Because I want to see if there's anything wrong with it. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, if I can see if there's anything wrong with it, I can charge you some money to fix it. And the bottom line is we'll only buy something, we'll only invest our time in something if we know that there's a definitive or definite ROI to be obtained. Because that's how it is. It's always been like that. It's never changed. And the salesman pitches up as if they're, God's gift, and it's like, who are you? You've never run a company before in your life. You're telling me how to run mine? Really? So it's difficult. It's constantly difficult. And so, you kind of get onto these different areas. What are people doing? Well, you've got this mechanism, you've got this strategy in place. And again, I kind of come back to the central point here, is it's imperative that you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, why it doesn't work, and what the alternatives are and why. You have to, and you can walk away from this and go, not interested. You can click away now. Not interested. It's fine. Not bothered. But the critical thing is that it's like, I wonder if Nigel's actually got something here. 40 years is a long time to be doing this. He must have learned something. And that's what this is. So look at something like SEO. Why do it? Why should do it? You see all these SEO companies, use our SEO, do this, do that, yada, yada, yada. Well, I said earlier on that these mechanisms were designed specifically for consumers. So if people that you want to sell to don't want to fill out forms and are not looking, why are you doing it? Why do SEO? There's a couple of things. There's a desire to be on the first page of Google. It's a pride thing. So, look, first page. Look at that. Some of the stuff you see on the first page of Google is years old when it comes to B2B. It's years old. It's just not, it's not updated. There's no competition. People don't know how to do it. In many cases, not every, in many cases, they don't know how to do it. So the whole thing about SEO, it means you're passive. You know, your salespeople, you want to beat them up with a stick, beat them with a stick to get out there and get amongst it. But your digital marketing is passive. You're sitting there waiting for someone to find you. So the content that's being produced is not thought leadership. It's scant, minimal information. You know, a certain number, a few paragraphs in a blog with a daft picture. And it's that bit of information, that URL link is chucked onto LinkedIn or wherever you want to put it, and say, read our blog, and tell the rest of your staff to go and share it. It's like, you're not doing that. And the thing is that what people don't realise is, apart from it having to be educational, is that it needs to be of a certain length that's recognised by the search engines. Google, go with Google. So what's the ideal length? Well, between 2,000 and 6,000 words. You think, well, that'll take someone forever to write. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it will take them a long time. Yep. But because you've got blogs, there's this thought process that you've got to keep producing it again and again and again. Oh, we've got to do another blog this week. We've got to maintain our visibility, keep the blogs going out. No, you don't. Not at all. Why? You shouldn't have blogs anyway. You should have articles for a start, because you know your market, you know your target market, you know who you're writing for and why. And so now you've got that identified. You want to produce information, educational information that will educate your prospect for them to go, do you know what? That company's nailed it. That's really good. I like that. You can't do it in a blog. Google want you to do bullet lists, indexes, navigable, so you can click on it to go to your different sections, H1, H2, H3, bullet lists, number lists, graphics, infographics, video. They want you to create content that is really juicy, that really, really sticks, gets people to read it. Businesses don't do it. Too much effort. Well, we've got telesales, haven't we? So then you've got these other two things. EEAT. Experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Your content must exude, and your website must exude those four things. I should have put it on there, I forgot. The really useful content update just happened. People have seen their content go through the floor because Google is looking to ensure that they're delivering the best content. Yeah, Google. Because they're not your customer. You might ultimately be writing for your customer. Yeah, I get that. We all get that. But you are writing on behalf of Google. You are writing content for Google. Google has the pick of the crop. It will put forward what it thinks is going to be relevant to its customers, not yours. Google's customers. Google wants you to write for them so people keep going back to Google and engage with the Google ecosystem. Never forget that. And once you've done all that hard work, you've written it, you've edited it, you've asked people, what do you think? You put it on your website. You've then got to make sure you've got a sitemap. And then you can upload and refresh your sitemap and repost that to Google. And then once you've reposted that to Google, you've got to make sure Google then discovers it. Once it's discovered it, it'll crawl it. But it won't index it. Not necessarily. And then eventually you want it crawled and indexed. My crawled and indexed and crawled not indexed stuff changes constantly. It goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. And Google can just knock it out, stop it. So you've done all that work, loads of content. It's not indexed, so nobody will ever find it. It's a scary thought. You have a massive website and you've got a tiny fraction of the amount of content that you've produced is actually indexed and visible on Google or any search engine. So it makes you wonder, what's all this effort for? Come on to that. You got pay-per-click then. Because if it's not working on SEO, you use pay-per-click, right? Makes sense. Same thing again. You use pay-per-click because you want to be in page one. As long as you're bidding higher than anyone else, you'd be fine. It's passive again because you've got to wait for someone to come and look. So they should be in the market, I hope. The content's not thought leadership. It's not educational. You've still got these short articles that are being produced and not the long form content. Still not adhering to EEAT. Yet it links to a landing page. And your landing page, you want contact details. Oh, but we know 97 to 100% of people don't want to fill out forms. And if you do get a form filled out, it'll just be passed over to the BDR and they'll give them a quick call just to follow them up, which everybody hates anyway. And if that happens, they end up normally immediately subscribing because the content wasn't good enough and so on. This is critical. It's just, again, you must understand this stuff that's going on. Beginning of the year, there is an antitrust case going on in the States between the FCC and Google that relates to, you can see this on Catch Up and get the link at the top. But basically it says, we got a bit of a problem here. We're not reaching our targets, says Google's salespeople. We need to edit and skew what we present to people so we can get a higher yield from these people, because otherwise we're not going to hit our sales targets. In this same article, this is an email exchange between Google employees. It says, we need to maintain this dependency on Google. We want to get people young. We want to get them dependent on us, believing on us, and we're doing everything, and people trust us and so on. And we want to get them at an early age before they're even old enough to buy. So you've been given all this information. There's a lot of information to take on board here. But can you start seeing a pattern emerging? Why aren't you doing a business? Why isn't it happening for you? It's critical. So then, good old AI, call time out. It's definitely a better way. Because you should. You have to be in control. What's the point? You can't be buffeted in the wind like a reed in the wind. You cannot have that. You must be able to control the path that you've chosen to follow or carve out for yourself. You must be able to. The final bit about the visibility bit is banners. Why do banners? Well, this is the beginning of bringing this all together, because you have a total addressable market. You can bandy some figures, some numbers around. Say, for example, you want to deal with companies that have got 50 employees or more. There are 44,000 companies in the UK that have 50 employees or more. 50 employees, they're doing, on the same basis of doing circa 100 grand, 5 million turnover, they could probably afford your product, for argument's sake. Yeah, so go with that. It's quite a simple calculation. You're not going to sell to 44,000. Let's take 10,000. So you go with 10,000, buy 10,000 name database, costs you 3.5 grand, or you should already have it. Your marketing people should have already got you to buy that. If they haven't, show them the door. So you've got a 10,000 name database. Of those 10,000 people, between 1 and 15% are looking to start their buying journey every week. Let's go with 0.5%, 50 people. So 50 people every week. You message them all, email them all, every single one of them, say hi. So you're telling them you exist. And at the same time, you then upload that information to LinkedIn, for example, and your messaging will appear on LinkedIn as well as the emails that are being sent to those 10,000 people. So the point is that it's proactive. You're reaching out, you maintain awareness. It's an invitation for them to follow you because they know what you do. You can tell them of the events that you're doing, and we'll come on to that in a minute. And like I said, 1 to 15% buy every week. You have to think about this. You have to think about what I'm doing right now and how I'm able to communicate with 5, 10, 15, 20,000. It could be 50,000. It's irrelevant. It's not changing what I'm doing here. So it's really important, because everybody in sales knows it's a numbers game. It's always been a numbers game, but nobody has put the effort into exploiting how to manipulate and work with those numbers. So that's really important. The other part of this, so that you can email them and do what you want in terms of the direct contact details that you have. But we put out, it's about to go up actually, and I'll come on that in a second, to maintain visibility, just visibility on social media platforms, plural. We output 180 adverts. So these are graphics with links and some text. We output 180 adverts a month. Tells people what we do. Invites them to look, to watch. That's it. How many are you doing? That's what you have to ask yourself. Well, we've got all these people there, or I'm only a one-man band, or I'm only a consultant, or whatever. I can't afford. I am a one-man band. It's me and Liz. We do this. We work on this stuff together. Yeah. Liz also has a day job as well. So there's no excuse from anybody in any marketing capacity to say, oh, we haven't got the staff or resources or whatever to do that. Absolute rubbish. This is where we start turning marketing on its head, and it has to be turned on its head. So the point of this, of sending this information out, is I am encouraging and recommending people look at the content, not the product, not consultancy that I can offer, the product. The content. Getting people to look at the content, because the content's educational. The content means they can stay anonymous. The content means they can self-educate and they go, do you know what? I really like that company. Let's have a chat with them. That is the best you can do. Thinking that you can just find someone who's just looking to buy there and then, we both know it just never happens. Well, it's happened to me, but it never happens on a regular basis. You wouldn't start a business based upon that. That's just a bit of icing on the cake. We've got a whole structure called Social 444, which explains it. There's downloads and information on the website, and we use a company called Recur Post. Other people use Hootsuite. There's a variety of different companies that do the automated posting of information and video. Video adverts can be posted on a regular basis, and we're starting those shortly, because it's all about showing you what's achievable, what's attainable, what's doable, because otherwise it's hot air, it's nonsense. I mean, this is basically what we do. We have everything. So we have a live show, we do videos, we've got recorded videos. We do direct podcasts and lift information off this. This will be converted into a podcast as well. We've got downloads, we've got articles, we've got infographics. I think that's it. All in all, I published a book a while ago, and a book as well. All in all, the numbers of characters that we worked out is something like 750,000 words. Not characters, words. On our website. So there's loads of information, loads of content there, and we've got company pages, we've got group pages, personal pages, and it's all about distribution of information and making it very, very accessible for anybody, because that's how it works. That's how we all work in B2B. So one of the things that we can start with I mean, I've jumped straight into green screen because this is just an interesting kind of first taster about this. So we've got all this this live streaming gear, and part and parcel of this is, you can have a single camera, or you have multi cameras and lots of different hosts, and there's so many different ways you can use this type of technology, and that's ostensibly what I'm advocating, is do this. Cameras cost next to nothing. I've got some kit here. I'll just show you this. This is basically the setup that we've got. We've got different cameras, different camera angles. Oops, didn't mean to put that. Different button. That's the camera over here. As you can see the kit. So we've got podcast and video players and a switch box here. I don't touch that. I just touch this this little device down here, which is called a Stream Deck, and that enables me. That enables me to do the lower thirds, or to switch to that view, or go back to a main view like that. All of this stuff, this is kind of prosumer. It's not quite consumer, but it costs next to nothing. You can use that. You can use an iPhone. I mean, that's the whole point of this. If you follow the Apple stuff recently, the iPhone 14 and 15, the quality of cameras are so good. And if your staff have got them, you can use them. You can go live right now. And this is the point. I can reach, over the course of a week, I reach 100, 200 people. I couldn't do that on the phone. I couldn't get that FaceTime with them. I couldn't get them to listen to me on a call or at a meeting. I mean, if you look at how many minutes, this is important, how many minutes do your salespeople spend in front of prospects, actually speaking to them face to face? It's negligible these days. So you have to have a mechanism in place that enables you to do this. So so using the green screen stuff, yeah? You've seen this, you've seen Fox News, you've seen all this kind of stuff in terms of the news. Yeah? Tucker Carlson, Nigel Main. It makes me smile because Tucker Carlson, Nigel Main. It's just, okay, his lighting's different, he's a bit bigger in the screen. No different. Pop up a green screen, you've got Fox News. Plus one of these boxes. But that's the point of this. One person can do this. Think about how many people you've got in marketing. Think about how many people you think you should have in marketing. Think about how many people in marketing think they should be retraining themselves before they get fired. Because that's reality. If they're pushing, which they are, if they are pushing, you've got the serious angle. If they're pushing these strategies and tactics that were designed for B2C, well, actually, guys, we're going to start selling to businesses, which makes everything you've been saying and doing redundant. See ya. Oh, is that too brutal? Oh dear, never mind. I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. Because what are you going to do? You're, okay, no. We can't get rid of the people. We can't fire them. We've got to keep them. So I don't know where it is. It's a bit further down. But it's, if they do what they have always done, you will get what you've always got. It's fact. Marketing have had 20 years to get this right. And meanwhile, over all that time, we've all been on a promise from people in marketing, and they have royally let everybody down. It's a real shame, but not insurmountable. So what we've got here, this is to help you. This is a page on our website. It's go live. It's at the across the top of on the menu. Step by step, everything you have to do. Documents, downloads, videos, picture, everything. Everything is there. Step by step. Follow that, away you go. And I might mention this earlier. The only thing I can offer you is speed. Can't do anything. I can't do anything other than that, just to help you make it happen quickly. And the thing is, if people have got information, kind of what we've got this website, we've got all this information, what we're supposed to do, where we're supposed to start, what's the best thing? Well, that's where we come in. Doesn't take long, won't take long. Even doing this, I mean, speaking to your staff wherever they are, managing this from wherever you are, it's not a problem. I mean, you've probably got space anyway for a studio, people working from home. Ideal, get a studio set up. Camera, mics and lights, that's all you need. And a box to switch it, press it. One button I press and I stream. Right now I'm streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. Stop streaming, and it's all recorded. Using Restream, I can restream it again and again and again, all week, as long as I remember. And reach more people than your entire BDR team. Don't care how big they are. The only difference between me and you is my database is smaller than yours. That's all, because I can only deal with a certain amount of business at the same time. But if you've got salespeople, happy days. You've got people that you have employed that are gregarious and outgoing enough to do this, sit in front of camera. They know their product. They always have. Just get them talking about it. If you've got someone here, you got like Liz came in, you got doing the like a podcast, a recorded podcast. They're talking to each other. Recorded interviews and multiple person engagement has the highest watch rate than anything else. Because people working from home, they want to be included, they want to be part of something, they want to be involved with it, they want to learn. So, the opportunities are just, and like I said, the opportunities are staggering, and that's everything that you need to know. You take some time to look through on the website. The whole thing about this, it's critical. This is about changing the way that you do business. It's changing how you present to people. Put a line in the sand. Stop listening to whatever marketing has said. Stop. You are now a media company. You are now going to do a show once a month, then once a week. You're going to put this out. You're going to have people sitting and talking about different items and different subject matter. There you go. These are just 25 that I came up with, different show segments. You can talk about, and this is for the benefit of the people that are listening on a podcast because they can't read this. How-to videos, how-to live shows. All of this is interchangeable between a live segment and a video. How-to, viewers' FAQs about your customers, your markets, your company, deal of the week, value management, customer success, news this week, technical training, scenarios that you can do and build products according to different scenarios, interviews, core products, learning. And the list just goes on. Excuse me. Banter and kind of general discussion, podcast, they're having a typical podcast, but with two or more people in the film, in the frame, partners, video, employees, hobbies. But bearing in mind, I don't know how long, I consciously don't look at my watch because otherwise I'll miss things. But the bottom line is you can do anything. You want to film part of your Christmas party early on in the Christmas party, like first 10 minutes. Yeah, you with me? If you want to look at employees' hobbies. People buy people. They always have. It's never changed. And if you are open and communicative to your audience, then they can genuinely say, I quite like them. They're quite a nice company now. As well as, goodness me, we've got everything we need here. So, you're all using Zendesk. I was using it like 10 years ago. Great product. So you've got FAQs on there. I'm assuming at the bottom of your FAQs page, you have a contact box, a messaging box. So if the answer isn't there, they can ask you the question straight away. You have got that, haven't you? But the point is people have always got questions. People always want to know how to do things. If you look at the questions you're getting and start producing video content, because it's the same camera, I can record video, I can do live stream, or I can take photographs. If you make a point of covering all of those points off, think about it. You've then become a 24/7 company operating around the world. Doesn't matter what your product is. If you can service a product in another country, bingo, you've got it. You can speak to them, you can engage with them, you can do whatever you like. And you think, why aren't sales teams using this? Oh, we do. Oh, yeah, we use video. You mean you use a webinar with the dirty little camera in the center of your laptop, and everybody hiding behind. Everybody hiding behind a video, a PowerPoint presentation. See, we're not using one now. But you see what I'm saying? Even when you're talking to people, I'm looking at the lens, yeah? There are little cameras you can buy. They're about that square. And you can stick them on your laptop screen or on the head of the person that you're speaking to. You stick it on there. And so you're talking to them. You can talk to them eye to eye. Little things like that raise your game. And the critical thing about this is that the cost involved with this kind of only would be the banner cost incurred because you're uploading your database to LinkedIn. Okay? That's it. Because you don't need marketing automation, get rid of that, because you only need to tell people what you're doing. So we send out emails that say, this is what we talked about last week, this is what we're going to talk about this week, come and join us. Last week, this week, last week, this week, that's it. And if you've got information that is useful and anything, you're becoming an advisor. Doesn't matter what you sell. If you're in B2B, you're becoming a thought leader, an advisor, and you've got all the attributes and component parts that means that people are able to engage with you even though you're not there. You have to think about it. There's no choice. I'm not saying, oh, go back and do what you were doing before. And your salespeople are going, no, don't. We've got to change. We've got to do something different. And if you look at the numbers, so once all this is set up, so say for example, someone comes into your company and sets all this up. There's loads of people around that do it. So they set all of this up. You go, so how do we use it? Well, turn all the buttons on, and when you want to go live, press that one button. How hard can it be? You've bought all the kit, revenue expense on a balance sheet, 3 years. So that's finished with. And you can spend anything from $5,000 to $500,000. I mean, you know, a couple of cameras, some lights, a microphone, and so on. That's it. It's nothing. You think how much money you spend every month on pay-per-click. Yeah. So that's the point of this. It's like, you know, thinking when we finish this very shortly, you think, so let's just listen to this guy. He told me to get rid of everybody in marketing, start again. Yeah. And we can reach more people than we've ever reached before. Yeah. So where do we start? Sit your SMT down and have a chat. Don't rush into it. Get them to watch this. This will be recorded. This will be on Facebook, or not Facebook. It will be on Facebook, but it will be on YouTube. Or even give them this link. If you got to this on a link, it stays on LinkedIn, I think, indefinitely. I think. But get them to watch it, to listen to it. Well, what are the possibilities? You go, well, they're staggering, because whether you lose everybody in marketing, it's up to you. I would say, well, sorry, mate, because you've been pushing this narrative for B2C. You've done nothing in 20 years to support us. All you've done is blabbed on about what software we should buy or what ABM software we should buy. And all this software integration nonsense, it's not got us anywhere. In fact, we're hemorrhaging money through SaaS. And not even broken promises. But, we're not getting the traffic. The traffic that we do get doesn't amount to anything. It's a complete and utter waste of time. So you're no good to us. See ya. So it takes a handful, put it this way. What would I like perfectly? Well, I'd like someone maybe sitting over there, changing the slides, or even answering messages when they come in. You could probably, it could be okay. It would be okay for two people. And then in terms of what I'm doing, it's a bit difficult for me to have lots of people with me doing a show, because it is entrepreneurial, isn't it? You look at something, you realise a problem, you spend years work identifying it, analysing it, and then defining an infrastructure from start to finish, how to implement something like this as a defined strategy, documented strategy, and then put everything online. Because for what I do and what you do, you have to do everything in reverse. So you have an idea. Once you have an idea, you've got to write about it. Once you've written about it, you'll do a website and gauge the interest. As you're gauging the interest, you're creating content and information. You've defined your product. You could go down with an Eric Ries lean startup and do a minimum viable product, or you can have a different kind of engagement process with your prospective customers and complete the thing in the first place without making them guinea pigs, which nobody likes. In business, because it's business critical, it's different if it's for consumers. Very different. So, you look to do this. You've created the information, you've created the content, you've got the content onto the website, you've got the product available on the website, people can go buy. And once you've got all of that done, then you can start talking about it to people, pointing them to the website to read about it, to buy it. You can't do it the other way around. Same with me. So when it comes to what you're doing, I would say it's very feasible. You don't have to fire everybody, but they do need retraining quickly, and they can do it in their own time if they value their job. It's up to you what you want to do, but you know where I'm coming from. The University of YouTube, spectacular. Everything's on there. Or get them to read the website. It's a big website. Get them to read everything. Consume all of it. There is no tracking. There's no email forms. No nothing. And that's what this is about. So once you've got all of that set up, a couple of people from a technical perspective to make sure all of this is set up, and then you've got the content. We went through that. This list here is 25 show segments. You got to prepare for the shows. But once you've done the shows, they're available forever. And that's the same logic to your content, because you produce great content, not loads of it, as in written content. Produce great content. Update it and change it. That's what your website and what the software structure expects of you. It expects you to update it. For example, you've got a salesperson. They're not on target. What do? You don't just fire them straight away. You go, well, what are you doing? Why aren't you reaching target? What's happening? Right. That's what you're doing. You're doing that wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. Change that bit there. And now go off and make sure you don't do that again. Same with your articles. If your articles aren't getting read, why not? So this is the critical part. It's very difficult to do that when you're just relying on SEO. If it's not indexed in the first place, it will never get read. If you're sending someone to read it, then you can use products like Google Tag Manager to see how far down the article people are actually reading it. Do you go, great, it's being read. If people are only reading 25% and clicking away, you go, maybe we need to change the intro. That's what the software expects you to do. That's not what happens very often, if at all, in B2B. So when it comes to your presentation of video and streaming stuff, you can do what you like. Once this is finished, I can then put a transcript with it if I want to. You can get auto transcripts done in whilst you are actually speaking. It can be embedded. You can do it. Take those transcripts, put them onto paper, put them as part of the document. It's all about that's if you want to go and pursue this visibility through Google, but it doesn't work. It's no point. What you want to do is you want to be telling your prospects, come and watch this. Go and watch that. Create multiple adverts that promote different parts of the content that you've provided. You could have 20 adverts for one piece of content, whereas the mindset before, we want to have 20 pieces of content. No, what's the point? That's the critical thing about this. Create great content. So when even getting copywriters, there's some great copywriters around. Get them to write really good, long form, engaging content and produce 20 adverts. And I say 20 adverts. These are graphics. You've seen my adverts if you've seen me on LinkedIn. They are graphic adverts with information and a link. The link goes to the article or whatever I'm promoting. You can do videos for the same. Hi, this is Nigel. Come on, if you're looking at generating more, blah, blah, blah. Come and watch our live show. Click link above and just get a notification. All using the same gear, same kit. So the point, I hope, next week, I'll not next week, the week after, I'm going to show some of the adverts that we've done. Again, if you've got a live show, we'll be back just after these messages, and you put an advert on for your products. Create a half an hour, 45-minute TV show. That's what it is. And you can choose. You can do it live, as this is. This is live, as you saw. But you can also record it and push it out as if it were live. But that takes editing, whereas live doesn't. That's why I say you can sit down, ready to rock and roll. I've got my coffee, got this, that and the other. Go live. Thanks for that. I will see you later. Press stop. No editing required. So you have to think about all of these things because it impacts on the staff. But of course, you could have less salespeople, but some of the salespeople you have can actually go into or be moved across to answer questions. Here we are, we're live, chat. If I had another person here, they could be on the chat and go, oh, we've got a message here and that could be pushed to my screen. Oh, we've got a message here from Steve in where blah, blah, blah. Steve is asking, how do we do X, Y, and Z? Well, actually, Steve, what you can do is blah. You can make it completely interactive. You can even use chat when it's recorded and have somebody answering the chat as a recorded live show. But there's lots of permutations, but the bottom line is that you can reach infinitely more people than you have ever reached before in the history of your company for pennies. Get rid of the tech stack, the MarTech tech stacks. Absolute waste of time, effort and money for B2B. People want to get to know, like and trust. You cannot do that. Blagging them to try and get someone to read something or download something doesn't work. How long will it take you to get to ramp this up? I don't know. How many prospects have you got? How many people have you got following you? There's lots of factors. You might go, a bit scary to put a line through and stop doing it. Do it parallel. Yeah, the fact there's some camera mics and lights and a couple of people to learn how it all works and a bit of training, you're away. Trust me, One will increase, and the other will decrease. That's how it's going to work. So you've taken some time to see that. So there's your technology adoption curve. I know I'm connected to a finite number of people. You have to think about this. This is really important. I'm connected to a finite number of people. We don't have 20, 30, 40,000 people watching us. I don't have thousands of people following me. Why would I? I mean, I've kept my head down for goodness knows how many years trying to work this thing out. But you, how many people have you got following you? How many people can you reach out to? That's what it boils down to. How many prospects have you got? And where are your prospects? Just regional, national, international? Imagine reaching every single one of your potential prospects at the same time. Because that's the only way you can manage the numbers. If your numbers say, this is our market, this is the percentage, this is how many we're getting to see, they're the numbers that you want. You can virtually chuck Google Analytics out the window as well. So you can see the logic of this. I could import a database and reach more people than you have reached in the past 5 years. You have to think about it. And when and we know nothing happens instantly. We all would love it to go, the phone's ringing off the hook. It doesn't happen that way. People have to think about it. But when you look at your figures, when you get to the end of the quarter, when you're looking at what the year's demands are on you, you're looking at what you need to achieve. Look at the grief and the stress and the aggro of doing the stuff that you're doing at the moment that you've always done, because it's just how it is, isn't it? Yeah, when you're going through those processes, think, we've really got to look at this. That's all you've got to do is just look at it and see how it would impact and fit into your business. That's all you've got to do. And it will change your business, period, forever. And it will change the numbers because you're changing the ratios. The whole thing is about ratios. You're selling one-to-one. You go, yeah, and of course we are. Think about it. You're selling one-to-one. You don't want to sell one-to-one. You want to sell one-to-many. But how on earth do you do that? You do this. A prospect can come in, work his way through all the information and content that you've got, watch the videos, look at the FAQs, read and watch the FAQs, watch you live. And the first time you hear from them, they say, hi, I've been watching your information online. Watch your live shows, downloaded something. Can I speak to someone about getting hold of this kit? And that's where your salespeople come in and go, yes, of course. See you on Zoom. Great looking Zoom image and so on, and maintaining their continuity of professionalism with a little camera that's stuck in the middle of his screen. Go, how can we help? Well, I've seen this. I think there's great. I would have salespeople with brilliant green screen backdrops, high quality cameras, the best audio gear going for them to sit on the phone again and again and again and take orders wherever they are in the world. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's just have to be a bit creative. But not too much, because I'm not saying I've done it all, but 95% of it's done. Are people going to do better things than this? Of course they are. I hope they are. I want to know about it. But that's what this is all about. The scope and what you can do is limitless. I mean, this really, without a shadow of a doubt, this really is, for me, and I said 40 years, yeah? For me, this is the most exciting time of my career, period. It's spectacular. You can't touch it. And I've got a lot of t-shirts. I've had a lot of stuff happen, a lot of really sad stuff with deaths and my daughter dying and a lot of different things. And being a business owner, you've got to pursue doing the business, otherwise your business fails as well. I had that as well. But there's no guarantee in business. because nobody knows how to work the numbers. Now you do. So that's it. That's it from me for today. Next week, I'm going to be speaking to any marketer that has got the kahunas to listen. Yeah, it'll upset them. But they've got to know, because these are the people that are telling CEOs what they should be doing. It doesn't work. So that's it. I think I'm done. Not sure how long we were. I'll find out in about 3 seconds. But have a great week, great weekend. And if you can join me next week, please do so. And I wish you all the best for your business. Bye for now.